Welcome, everybody, to the U16 pod. I'm Ryan MacArthur.
And I'm Connor Williams. And on the last episode of the U16 pod, we had part two of the Silver Stick, our two-part Silver Stick series. We finished off that little series we had going on there where we covered the Silver Stick tournament that took place in Whitby, Ontario here. So definitely go check out that episode. We had four incredible interviews in part two there. Caden Kelly from the Mississauga Senators, Logan Sawyer from the Vaughan Kings, Karen Walton from the North York Rangers, and Liam Greentree from the Markham Majors. So definitely, if you haven't seen it, check that one out yet. You can find that one on YouTube, or be sure to check that one out on whatever podcast platform you listen to your podcasts on. So definitely go check those out. But since that episode, we had a little tournament. It's been a busy couple weeks here, for good and bad reasons, I guess we could say, Ryan. But we'll start with kind of some good reasons. I know you had the chance to attend some hockey tournaments, specifically the Waterloo Gold Puck tournament.
Yeah, no, it was fun. And it's funny how you mentioned our little series on the Silver Stick. I know when we were done recording, we were both kind of had a big sigh of relief because that was a lot of talking in long episodes. But yeah, the Waterloo Gold Puck, I was down there. I was scouting U18 a lot down there. Some work I'm doing. I was looking at the U18 guys, and man, I really think that U18 draft is going to be a good draft. Obviously with COVID last year, there's a lot of good players playing that U18 AAA, and I think it's going to be interesting. Like, I think there's going to be some good finds in the draft there for OHL teams, as I kind of dig in more, because yeah, like a lot of those guys we saw in video, but I mean, some time has passed, and they're looking pretty good out there. So I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, no, I know you do some work with U18 as well, eh? Have you noticed that kind of that there's some guys that went undrafted that look good?
No, you hit the nail on the head there. Especially, I saw that tweet you put out too, especially while you were there, about how there's going to be a lot of players who are going to be picked in the U18 draft who probably should have been, or could have, should have, would have been picked in the U16 priority selection draft.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't, honestly. A lot of people responded to that, and it got a lot of great publicity in terms of how true it was. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I do some work down there with the U18 Niagara North team, and there's players on that team who I think, oh, if there was a season last year, they would have had a real shot at getting drafted, or they would
Right.
have got a shot. I mean, I put out a tweet. I brought up Cam Iki from the
Yeah.
Niagara North team. There's tons of players. I mean, we've been watching Ajax. Ajax has been dominating in the U18 loop out in the ETA there, but just so many players in U18 that kind of, we're looking to get a shot. And I think you hit the nail on the head with the fact that so many players will get picked that probably would have got picked last year had there been a legitimate season going on.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I got to keep my standout secret because it's for some work I'm doing, and there's going to be an announcement soon about that. I know I've mentioned it on the pod a few times, but it's going to be made official soon, exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, for now, I mean, let's keep it U16, right? There was U16 games at the event as well, and I watched a lot. Um, and yeah, I'm just gonna go through quickly, like, because I know you didn't get the chance to be there, and I don't want to just be all me talking this episode, but just some guys like that stood out. Like, I mean, I saw Cambridge and North Bay. A player I haven't brought up before is Reed Forster. His brother's Nolan Forster, a Guelph pick, that he was on the Marlies back like a few years back or whatever, for reference. But Reed, 77 defenseman on Cambridge, really good. Had some stretch passes that kind of blew my mind. Really good passer, like distributes the puck great skater, great player. Like, I almost mentioned him after the Kitchener Blue Line tournament, but I didn't. But he definitely deserves a mention for this one because he was great in that game against North Bay. And I mean, Tyler Graham, friend of the show, he was doing his thing. He came in, he sniped one gorgeous goal. So got to mention Tyler Graham. Love watching him play, but I won't go on because I've already mentioned him a lot. Like, I love that player. Mason Ray in North Bay is really good. I've mentioned him on the pod many times. Really fast. He's been really good. Like, some nice goals in the tournament. Great snipes. He can shoot. Yeah, like he's just a really good player. Like, I think he's one to watch out for at the draft. And I mean, I'm kind of going to go all over the place here, but Windsor. I mean, congrats to Windsor on winning the tournament. They had a great tournament. Overall, like I find that's a good team with like a lot of really really good players. Like they're solid, and I think they're gonna have lots of draft picks. But for me, the standouts were Josh Lepain, and or you were lucky enough. I wasn't able to make that one, but to interview him. So we'll talk about him more in the future of this episode, right, Connor?
Yep.
And then the other one's like Stefan Djorovic. Like he's really good. Like I think he's a complete forward. Really, really good game. Like great hands, great skater. Got some nice goals. Just always creating offensive opportunities, and he doesn't take a shift off. Like that effort is there. Consistency. Like really, really good, complete all-round forward that gets back defensively and does well. So York Simcoe, I saw them have a barn burner against Don Mills. They were playing in one of the smaller rinks. I can't remember what it was called, but a small arena there. So there's a lot of hitting. That was a fun game to watch. Really, really fun. Like I mentioned before about York Simcoe. I mentioned another player was their captain, but Cole Davis, when they wore the black jerseys, is the captain. Um, and man, he's unbelievable. Like he got a really, really nice curl and drag. It didn't convert to a goal, but it was just a nice play where he showed off such a high level of skill. Like I think he's going to be a really good draft pick. Like really, really physical, good player. Danny Vasek was doing his thing. He got a whole whack of goals in the tournament. He got a couple snipes in that game against Don Mills. So York Simcoe won that one 3-2. That was a really good game, and Vasek had a big game. Aidan Renaud had a great game. Like he's got a great stick. Just breaking up defensive plays, just nonstop. Like great feet, great stick. Really, really physical player.
We'll be
Just
sure to go
jumping in.
into more detail on Aiden in a bit
Oh
too,
yeah, yeah.
because he was our
Right.
second interview for this fun episode. So we'll be sure to dive more in depth there. Hey, Ryan.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, no, like we did the interviews a couple days ago, so I got the chance to meet with him. So we'll play that one later. And then for the Titans, Max Dennis or Denis, like really, really speedy player. They got a really nice snipe. Really stood out for me for the Titans. I haven't mentioned any players in the Titans yet, but like he's just a sneaky, talented player. I think he's worth a look and worth a mention. Um, Waterloo, Graydon Strohack, big defenseman. He had a great game. The game I saw them. I think 6'2.5", big hulking D. Does a lot of things right. Plays hard, really, really hard. Physical player, heavy player. Um, Definitely worth a mention. Um, Sudbury, I mean, I mentioned these guys before, and we've mentioned them. Nolan Newton with his speed, and I know you like him. Um, Tyson Rismond, I mean, just an animal out there, just a really strong player, big hits, it's painful watching him kind of lay the body there. So like those guys. And jumping over, I caught some hockey a little bit before the Waterloo tournament. I saw some stuff at the OMHA showcase. So first game, Quinty Richmond Hill. I mean, McIver got a nice shutout. Mike McIver, we had him on the pod before. Really good player. And then I saw Quinty Markham. Reed G was doing his thing. He's just a tank out there. Unbelievable, unstoppable force. Ethan Tom's got a game-winning goal off a nice snipe. And for Markham, player that really, really, really stood out, Nate Aspinall. Really excellent playmaker. Like he's smooth. Like I know you've seen him a lot lately, eh? Like you like Aspinall as well, right?
He's a player that keeps rising for me in terms of just
Yeah,
what I've seen from him. And I saw him first at the Silver Stick, and just as you keep
yeah,
watching him grow and grow, and watching him every time you see it, just keeps determining. Every time you watch this kid, he keeps getting better and better, and that's the case with Aspinall there. With the size he has, he's
yeah.
already got like that physical maturity that draws you to him. But then he's got that skating. Once he gets going, he's tough to stop. And then, like you mentioned, with the playmaking, but he's also got that finishing and scoring ability that is rare with people of his size. With that range of motion, that finesse, just that finishing ability is huge. And honestly, just look out for him because he looks to keep rising on many draft boards here as we go along in the season, eh?
Yeah, and he has the puck a lot. Like
Yeah,
he seems to hang. He's not afraid to hang on to it. He goes around the zone maybe once, twice, three times.
got that
It's like
poise. He's got that poise, eh?
poised with it, and then when he makes a move with it and passes it, it creates space and sets things up. And so he's got really like the way he distributes and passes. It shows really high hockey IQ. I really like Aspinall. Like you said, big riser, right? And we've been
Yeah,
talking about him in some of our private conversations because we love him, right?
absolutely.
And Jack Good. I mean,
Pretty
he's a
good.
finisher. He's a finisher. Like he got a gorgeous goal. This was a great game actually. I think it was 8 in the morning or something.
Oh, of
I can't even.
course, of
But I
course.
mean, I couldn't miss it. I couldn't miss I remember the alarm went off, and I'm not a morning person. I mentioned this on the pod before. Like
That
I did
makes
not
two of
want to
us.
get up.
That makes two of
Yeah,
us.
yeah. But I mean, it was worth it to get up and go to that one. Like I had to see that. I mean, it was in Oakville. I live in Burlington. Like I just there's no excuse. I had to be there, right? Um, and caught a bit of Central Ontario, Cal versus Barrie. Couple guys like Aidan Randall on Central Ontario. He's a good player. Like he did a lot of things I liked and created a lot of offense. And for Barrie, Liram Amidovsky, he's a good player too. He looked pretty solid. And then one more game to mention. I think I got all the guys here. Let me make sure. Yeah. Um, Halton versus Oakville. Halton had a great game there, 4-2 win. Chris Soares got 2+1. I know our buddy Rain Hernandez posted highlights from that game. I saw him there filming, and I went up and said hi to him. And it's always good to see Rain at the rink. He's awesome. The stuff he's doing with RCH Sports. We
we
love that.
and we got to congratulate him too. Congratulations to Rain there on his new
Yeah,
position with in his new role with the OHL there. So I have to slip that in there. Big congrats to him. So well deserved in that regard for Rain.
yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Like, I mean, I was pumped when I saw that news. Like, I mean, so well deserving. Like that guy's so passionate about hockey and great hockey mind, an awesome kind of friend to have, like, and colleague to see at the rink, right? We love seeing Rain. Um, Hunter McKenzie was doing his thing. I mean, Rain got a nice clip of that because I think he was in that end when he scored it. So
Yeah, he
no, that
came
was
down,
nice.
came down, cut middle. It's kind of a
Yeah,
Hunter McKenzie move that I've seen so much that he's done against Niagara too, down at
yeah.
Seymour Hannah. So it was a textbook Hunter McKenzie snipe there.
He was running. He's a Mack truck running around out there, just hitting guys, and that goal was gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous. I was in the far end for that one, and it looked great. So to see that video as well from where Rain was sitting, like that's just like you said, classic Hunter McKenzie, cutting middle and just ripping that powerful wrister. And a new one that I haven't mentioned, Chris Cassie. Man, he's good. Like he's fast. I don't know how I never noticed him before. Um, like the games I was watching Halton, I was sitting up top, kind of like up higher or whatever. And this one I was on the glass, and on the glass you get a different perspective. Like you really like his edges. Really good skater. You can kind of see that better from ice level, and like really picks up speed quick. And he's a really good player. He was creating a lot of offense. I mean, Aidan Cormack was doing his thing. Good defenseman. I don't know, setting up goals. He got a couple of assists in the game. Braden Randall had a strong game in net, and got the win for Halton there. That was a fun game. I love that rink too. Sherwood,
Yeah, that's a great rink.
great rink. Like I don't know, I watch a lot of Halton because I mean I live close, right? And they've got good U15, U16 teams this year, so I enjoy watching them. And I like the double blue because I grew up in Barrie. We had the double blue in Barrie. It was awesome. So I got a sort like a soft spot for that double blue there.
That's awesome. So as you kind of brought up the SCTA there with Oakville and Halton there, I'll bring up for a game I got to watch last week there,
Nice.
um, down in Niagara before I came back home. on Sunday here to Mississauga. I got to see Niagara versus Burlington. My first time catching Burlington live there, in person. So I'll hit on some guys that stood out for me from Burlington. First off, Owen McCambridge, winger, right shot forward for them. Skilled player, smooth on his edges, really kind of maneuvers well on the ice, creates offense for his team. When in space and finds a way to use his finesse to his advantage out there. Another player on defense, Hudson Gill, big right shot D, heavy
Yeah,
shot.
right.
Yeah, heavy shot player with also has some physical, really heavy on his stick as well. Wins battles with the stick, doesn't give up loose pucks easily. Quinton Van Next, another player who stood out that game. Um,
Yeah.
I'll also say Mackenzie Kurt as well, from Burlington in that game was also a standout player. Kind of really big player, really strong, kind of one of those prototypical big defensemen who kind of shuts you down with the physicality, not afraid to give you a little cross check in front of the net in that aspect. He stood out in that game as well. So those are a few guys from Burlington who kind of stood out for me, who despite the loss for Burlington, they did end up. Those are some guys that had some good performances. And then one player in particular I got to mention from Niagara who had an outstanding game, who really kind of jumped out throughout the game is Parker Forlan, number 90, right shot forward for them. Oh, he just, I know a knock for many is probably going to be on him because he's not the tallest or strongest kid on
No,
the ice, but his hockey
good
IQ,
though.
his hockey sense, his passing ability, the way he's able to kind of use his speed. He's got deceptive speed, where when he kind of turns it on the Jets a bit, he kind of surprises guys a bit because he's got that change of pace where he'll kind of slow down a bit, then he'll burst past you when he needs to, or he'll slow down to create where you're backing up more than you realize. And he just that passing ability, he sees the ice so well. And it's just the overall complete game that he has. It's just remarkable. I gotta say, he's a player that even though someone may knock him for not being the biggest kid, I take that player. I take Parker Full in a heartbeat with the way with his game in that aspect. And then I'll also mention as well Andrew Vermeulen. Man, I was standing there and I was like, he had a slow start to the game, but then something happened in the third where someone hit his teammate, and he got in there and he was like, no, don't do that to my teammate, and they pissed him off. And let this be a
Yeah.
note to everyone: don't piss Andrew Vermeulen off because he just flipped it. It's like a flip switched, and he was laying guys out. He was doing everything, and I was like, whoa, this is the Vermeulen that I was like, he was hitting guys, he was creating chances, he was keeping that puck in his hip pocket, using his body protected. He was doing everything. I was like, gosh darn it, don't piss him off anymore. Dear gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was doing
Well,
incredible there.
well, the thing, Vermeulen, I mean, like when he's like on, he looks like a really, really high end top pick. I mean, consistency could be a little better with him, but like he's a really good player. And I mean, you mentioned Forlan, like the knock could be the size, but when I've seen them, like he's really stood out, like really, really good player. And I just wanted to mention a couple of guys in Burlington for my home. Like, well,
Yeah,
it's not my hometown, but it's my like it's
your
where I live now.
current city.
Yeah. Cook. I think it's Ryder Cook, right?
Yep.
Big forward. He's good. Like I think he's a good player. And McCambridge is one of those guys. Like he's kind of like he's a bit of an enigma. Like he's super talented and he shows like these flashes of brilliance that just kind of yeah. It's you can't ignore it. Like every once in a while you just see something. It's like wow, like really really high end plays. And you mentioned Gill. Like he's got a lot of goals this year. Hudson Gill, good
Yeah.
player. Like I've heard. I'm looking at because I was chatting with the coach there, and he's got a lot of OHL teams interested in him, man. So that's a good eye by you.
Yeah, thank you. He stood out right away. I actually saw him earlier in the season with he was a call up with the U18 Burlington team. And he was an
Oh yeah,
impact pretty good player in that game as well. So he's
cool.
definitely a player who, as you mentioned, there are a lot of teams are interested, and that's not a surprise at all there with the way he plays and all that.
Yeah,
And then I'll also say another Niagara player. I'll also mention had a pretty solid performance as well. Lucas Hein. Apologies to pronounce that wrong.
yeah. Hey,
Defenseman
man, right?
with Niagara North there. Really physical player. He lately he's really been kind of getting comfortable and really jumping up in the rush, taking advantage of the space he's got on the ice and making stuff happen. I mean, I saw him a couple weeks ago against Southern Tier, 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, I think, where he kind of rushed up the ice with the puck and sniped and kind of dipsy doodled and deked out the goalie. And then this week he rushed up the ice, burst up the middle, and then put one past the goalie too. And I was like, holy, didn't see this at the start, but he like come for like he just came out of nowhere and rushing the puck up the ice. But he's a physical D-man, makes the plays that he needs to get the puck out of the zone, moves the puck up ice for his team, and can facilitate in the offensive zone from the point as well for Niagara North there. So it was just a really good game. Niagara ended up getting the win. It was kind of a blowout game, 6-0 ended up being the score. But it was a great game to catch Burlington and obviously Niagara North as well. As this hockey season kind of takes a break here, Ryan, as we wrap up here, kind of the updates we had. I guess before they put out the news of the updates and the shutdown here for a bit. There was the GTHL did have their showcase this past weekend on Saturday, and there was one big news in particular that I think we both would be remiss if we didn't bring up, where one player made a return to the ice here
Oh
this
yeah.
past weekend on Saturday for North York, and man, did he show why he's an impactful player as Kevin He made his return for the North York Rangers, and Rain Hernandez, their good buddy, caught it on video, one of his goal there, and he showed off that shot that we love so much, eh?
He's a great player. I mean, one of the top players in the draft. Really, really awesome to watch. It's great to see he's back. I was it made me like a little bit extra pumped for the Marlies tournament, but that also got canceled, unfortunately. I mean, that's kind of big news that we should mention. That is really unfortunate. But Kevin I saw him I saw North York and the Sens in an exhibition game before the season started. So I think it was one of the last games that he played before he got injured, and he laid out like one of the biggest hits I've seen in this year. He just flattened Riley Patterson. Just it was huge. Like, I mean, you don't expect it from him. I've had a couple scouts say, "Oh, he's good," but I mean, I don't know like about him in contact games, and I was like, you didn't see that game that
Nope,
I was at
nope.
against the Sens where he blew up. Like it was a huge hit.
He
Like I
can hold
mean,
his own physically. Like
oh yeah,
he's not one to take lightly out there, as you mentioned, as you've highlighted so perfectly here with the physicality wise. Like he's got the speed, he's got the quickness, but then on the ice, but then when he needs to kind of, if someone's going to hit him, he'll kind of shrug them off, or when he needs to lay a
yeah.
hit or wants to lay a hit, he can give it just as much as he might take it sometimes. I think
And
too.
he's like he's the king of Carnivale. Like I mean, I don't know if you just look at stats, you'll probably fall in love with him because like I don't know. There, you know how there was all those showcases the last little while. Like he was the scoring title champ. Like
Yeah,
he'd have like what 6 points a game or something like that. Like it's
I think he
crazy.
had like an 8 point game in one game in Carnivale or something. And it was like, wait, did I read that right? But he
The
was
numbers were just like
absurd.
through the roof. Like I mean, maybe he got a hold like someone he knows got a hold of the score sheet after the game or something. I don't know. Like it's just crazy. Like no, I'm just kidding. Like he's just
Yeah,
unbelievable. Really, really offensively gifted.
yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely as the season hopefully gets back up and going after this winter break here. Him being back on the ice for North York is, gosh, look out for North York if they get back into the full swing of things with him
Yeah.
and him and imagine putting him on the same line as Kieran Walton there. Look out
Yeah.
on that
Well,
line.
we mentioned it to Walton when we interviewed him, and he lit up like a Christmas tree. He was like, "Oh yeah, no, I can't wait to have him back." Right?
Yeah,
And you've seen them for like Henrik Hockey. That was their team in Carnivale. I saw them a lot this summer, and they were unstoppable basically. So yeah,
yeah,
no, like definitely OHL Cup contender, right?
absolutely. So that's kind of a little recap of the hockey that was before the winter break, and obviously you mentioned it earlier there when we were talking about Kevin He. The Marlies Toronto Marlborough tournament has been officially canceled. Um, terrible news, Ryan. Just feel for all the kids again involved who won't be able to participate in that tournament, which is one of the biggest tournaments of the year. Um, hopefully there's some way to make up for that tournament being canceled in some form or another. But honestly, I just feel so bad for all these kids during the winter break here, and hopefully we can get all this COVID stuff back under control or whatever and get things
Yeah.
sorted out here, eh?
Yeah, no, that was a tough one. I mean, it was news that we sort of expected. But I mean, like whenever I see stuff like that, um, I just the first thought is just I feel so bad for the players because it's like they worked so hard for this, and it's my belief that there should be like exceptions made for U16 AAA hockey, and like even like U15, U18. Like it's just I get that it's not safe, but it's just it's hard to see these cancellations. But at the same time, like with the government and everything, like it's hard for them to make exceptions because public eye and whatever. That's a tricky spot for them, and I mean it is really bad right now. Like Omicron kind of surging through. I thought we were kind of through this one and out the other way, but kind of sticks around, eh? Like the
Yeah,
pandemic never ending, right?
sticking around, but hopefully we can get this one under control and get the season back up and going like it was before. We were loving to be back in the rinks and all that fun stuff. So um, definitely look forward to that. But some bad news there, but honestly, let's get back to some good news here and some fun stuff here as what do you say? What do you say, Ryan? We jump into the two interviews we had here.
Do it. Let's do it.
So we're gonna start off with the player from the championship team from the Waterloo Gold Puck tournament in Josh Lepain. Great interview with him. Learned a lot about him in terms of off the ice and got some insight into his game on the ice. Really can't thank him enough for coming on. So without further ado, here's the interview with Windsor Junior Spitfires forward Josh Lepain. All right, we are now joined on the U16 pod by star forward from the Windsor Junior Spitfires, Josh Lepain. Josh, how's it going?
Going pretty good. Yourself?
Not too bad. Excited to have you on, especially after a big tourney win you and your team had in Waterloo there at the Gold Puck tournament. I mean, as we begin here, can you just talk to us, talk to me about you and your team's performance in getting that tourney win there in Waterloo?
Yeah, it was an awesome experience to be able to win it too. And my team, we're all just firing on all cylinders because to win a big tournament like that, you can't just have one guy always getting the goals. All the lines gotta be going, and our goals for and goals against that tournament was unreal. So it was just awesome, even to win it too, playing against one of the top teams, Don Mills, and to be able to beat them was just awesome.
Yeah, you guys had a big like that tournament final. You guys had that's a big win coming against Don Mills there. And like you mentioned with that goals for average, like I think it just highlighted your team as a whole. I mean, you guys have had so much success in the alliance there. I think it just highlights the team you guys from the goaltenders to the defense to the forwards. I mean, is that kind of the way you guys have approached this season as a whole there too?
Yeah, because we're really working on in practices is like getting the puck up and coming up as a whole instead of really like individually coming up with drivers driving the net. So it's just all like we're finally starting to come together.
That's awesome to hear. And you guys have already had so much success. So I mean, just look out to the rest of the alliance, the rest of the season this year with you guys pumping in all cylinders there. So, but just jumping in your game now a bit here. I mean, you're a player with both size and strength on the ice. How would you say you like to use these kind of attributes to your advantage out there?
So I'd say I like to use it by either like taking the puck out wide, and since I'm like a big body, I like to cut back in. And like sometimes I noticed because I was in the Carnival too with North York's Henrik hockey team. So I noticed with a few guys there that they would chip the puck a little bit past the defenders, like a few feet, and then bust their legs to get there. And with me, I can do that and then also use my body too to kind of take the hit at defender and still get a great shot off or make a great play.
Wow, that's a remarkable insight there, especially taking kind of stuff you see from other guys and really implementing it to use it to your advantage out there. I mean, you talk about being with Carnivale. How did you find that experience getting to play with those Henrik hockey guys?
Oh, it was awesome because those guys were like they really took me in and felt like I known them for like 10 years. And I really paid attention, like me and my family, to improve my game. Paid attention to what they do so that I could kind of put that into my game and use it. Because if it works there, it's gonna work pretty much anywhere.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, that you guys had the success too at Carnivale too, taking the whole Carnivale
Yeah.
championship too. So that was pretty. That must have been a little cherry on top too, I guess, eh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. And I mean, keep it going along with your game here. In addition to kind of your size and strength there, you've also got that some great hands and some silky finish in those quality offensive areas. What's been key for you in kind of developing those hands and that finishing ability you have?
So in my hometown here, there's a private rink not too far where I always go to shooting clinics, and I must shoot probably like 1,000 to 1,500 pucks a day. And even I get to come in on breakaways on these goalies like so many times. So it's just really helped me like visualize, like if I cut this way, the goalie's moving this way, and I can put the puck back where they came from. It's just like an outstanding kind of way to get my eyes ready for the game and my body.
Wow, that's remarkable. That's honestly great insight, just that experience as well, and kind of it must be sort of the aspect as well, like the repetition, getting that aspect into it, I guess too, eh?
Exactly. If you try something there, it doesn't work, try something different, and then your body just kind of gets into the motion when it comes to a game. Of it's just your instinct to do it, and it's very helpful.
Wow, I love that point there, especially about the instinct there. It's kind of like I guess it's kind of like muscle memory, almost like kind of riding a bike at
Exactly.
this point for you. So honestly, that's just such a great point there for you. And as I talked about a bunch of your game there, if you could describe your game in kind of 3 words, what 3 words would you use to describe your game and why?
So I would say I'm aggressive because I always want that puck on my stick, or I'm always going to make a hit and strip that puck away from somebody and make a great play with it. And I would also say I'm fast because I'm always moving my feet, trying to get into those open areas or beat somebody wide and cut back in and get a good shot. And also I would say I'm smart because I'm always keeping my head up, looking for guys, looking for little soft pockets to chip the puck to. And yeah,
Awesome. I like those 2 words especially, in addition to smarts, which is huge for especially getting to the next level with the aggressiveness and the feet. For a guy at your
oh
size,
yeah,
it's like a massive advantage to have those that feet and that speed because it just adds another element and another layer to make you so dangerous on the ice there in that sense. And I mean, with your size and all the abilities you have, would you say there are any players in the NHL you model your game after with these aspects?
I would have to say Stevie Eiserman because he was very well respected, not just by his teammates but the entire league. And then I would also have to say Alex Ovechkin because I personally think that guy can do it all. He can shoot, pass, make great plays, obviously make some big hits, and drop the mitts if he needs to. I'm not allowed to drop the mitts yet, but I'm looking forward to it when I can.
Oh man, I like that. So you're a guy maybe at the next level. If someone wants to go, you might give him a little tussle there, I guess.
Hey, I don't know. We'll see.
I like that. I like that. If with the Ovechkin one, you think he's got the gonna beat the Gretzky record, the goals record there?
Oh, I'm thinking he's going to for
Oh,
sure.
I like
He's
that.
an
That's
animal.
oh, the way he's able to like hit and then also like snipe, but like looking back on his fights too, where he just like one knockout, like one shot just knocks guys out. It's just like
Exactly.
unreal. Like you don't get any. If there's no one else like him, so
There ain't.
that's awesome. And then just to get to know you a bit away from the rink too, what are some things you like to do when you're away from the rink, kind of when you aren't playing hockey there?
So actually, I own my own business.
Oh,
For 3 years now. I've owned boat detailing, like a compound and polish business.
nice.
Yeah, so in the summertime, I've taken on probably like 30 boats this year, from like 48 footers to this like small sea-doos. It's just a great way to keep me occupied and also make some money for my hockey funds, like my sticks and other equipment. And it's all honestly just taught me a lot.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Like the amount of respect I got for that, like the amount of work that takes, the ability to organize all that. Honestly, just massive kudos. If you found like it's really like helped you in terms of like growing and understanding a lot of different aspects you probably didn't understand before.
For sure. It's really like opened my eyes up to like kind of how because my work ethic too, because not a lot of people like doing it because it is hard work, but that's not a lot of people do it, and there's not a lot of people around here who do it. So I kind of I like it.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Just massive respect for that too, especially being able to putting the money towards your hockey and stuff, and just having that work ethic. Honestly, just honestly, massive respect on that front there. But I mean, in addition,
I also drag race too.
oh, you do drag race? How's that? How's that?
So me and my dad has a 1979 Trans Am that we drag race, and it's just so much fun.
Oh, that must be a blast. Just buzzing it there.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds unreal. That's is it all kind of like near you too? Like where you're able to do all this stuff?
Oh yeah, it's not too far away, so we just pack up the trailer and take the car down. It's I can't even explain it. It's just awesome.
That's awesome. That's incredible, man. I love those. That's incredible. Honestly, just I love that. That's so awesome, man. Everyone listening is gonna love that. Everyone watching, that's awesome. So, but in addition to kind of getting into some other personal stuff, get to know you a bit more too. What would you say are your two biggest pet peeves?
Ooh. I would have to say nails on a chalkboard. That one is I can stand that. And then another one would have to be kind of like I'm kind of like I like neat and tidy. And sometimes in the dressing room when some guys are just like their stalls, stuff's falling off their stall or something, just I don't know. I don't like that either.
Not a fan of the stink, I guess. Some of the stenches, I guess, eh?
No, not really.
Oh, that's perfect. And the nails on the chalkboard one, I don't think anyone can argue with that one. That one's just even like if it's not like any sort of screeching, I'm like you just get the goosebumps, and it's like no, like
I know that it's awful.
that's 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 a couple good ones right there for pet peeves. And then last one for you here. I mean, given it's the holiday season, what would you say is your favorite holiday?
I would have to go with Christmas because nothing beats 2 weeks off of school and a bunch of gifts, and you get to see all your family, and the meal too is just awesome. Nothing beats it.
Oh, you know the best. The first thing I love the first thing you said, especially the 2 weeks off school.
Exactly.
That's as much as I love my family and everything. The 2 weeks of having not to do my schoolwork, low key is probably one of the best parts of that. Not having to
Oh
do any
yeah,
schoolwork. So that's
absolutely.
that's terrific, man. Just honestly, just thanks so much for coming on the pod. I really appreciate you taking the time to join. Being it so close to Christmas and everything. Just happy holidays and best of luck the rest of the year with Windsor and best of luck at the OHL draft.
Thank you so much. It was a blast coming on here with you.
All right, and we're back from our interview with Windsor Junior Spitfires forward Josh Lepain, a big left shot forward. He's got the size, got the strength, like I mentioned there in the interview. 6'1" is the size in terms of height, and just he loves to use it on the ice. I talked to him about it. A big thing with him is really just getting down low, using it to drive wide. One thing that really stood out to me when talking to him is kind of taking the hockey IQ and the hockey sense that he has to mix it with the size and strength that he has on the ice to use it to his advantage. Where he talked about when he was playing with Henrik Hockey, he got the chance to play with Henrik Hockey in the summer and playing with guys like Kieran Walton and we're Henrik Hockey and North York. So they got some bigger guys, some guys of size. Watching them kind of use the space and kind of maybe chip a puck a few feet past guys and then go burn them wide or take advantage and use that space and use that size that you have plus your skating. Seeing that and then implement it into your game and adding another element to your game where you can kind of chip it by someone and add that in so they have to respect that chip and chase as well as giving you the chance to drive wide with that size that you have. I found that really telling in terms of the hockey IQ, the hockey sense, where you're able to see something, kind of process it, and then add it into your game as something that's like that could be an advantage to you, which is something that he can use to get better as he progresses to the next level, which is something that I thought was really telling in terms of his hockey IQ in that sense of the word there as well. And then I mean, in addition to his size there, with the size and strength that he has, where he uses it to drive wide, drive to the net, shield the puck, protect the puck, maintain possession, and all that. He's got the finesse, he's got the skill as well. Where he talked about working with trainers, working in the off season, working in training to really progress that and kind of take advantage of what he's got with his skill. Where we posted some highlights in the past on Instagram. of some plays he made where he's just able to kind of pick it out, work his way to the slot, work his way to the net front area, and then just roof it. Just find ways to get past the goalie, whether it be with a quick little nifty dangle or with a nice little quick shot, which is huge for a guy of his size to have that range of motion, have that ability to get it in tight and then find that kind of roof it. And we talked about it in the past with guys like Ethan Miedema, big
Right.
guys like that who can kind of use their size and use their range of motion plus their finesse to find ways to finish in tight. Where a knock on those players might be the fact that they can't maybe get it as much range of motion or finish as well because of their size. Whereas guys like this, guys like Lepain, you got guys like Miedema who are working down low, they're able to kind of use their finesse to their advantage to kind of capitalize on their chances and all that with that respect. And I did want to talk about also, I do want to highlight, I would be remiss if I did not bring this up. The fact that his work ethic is off the charts. I mean, we talk about his work ethic on the ice that drives his offensive abilities on the ice. But might I add, his work ethic off the ice. I mean, he runs his own business in the summer, boat boat detailing, the work ethic that takes of doing that in the summer, where a lot of guys, might take a break, might be chilling on a beach somewhere, might be going to their cottage. This guy's hard at work, boat tailing, making some money, paying for his hockey, and that work ethic, it translates from that onto the ice, I think, and I think you'd agree with me there as well.
Oh, you told me about this before we started recording, and I love that. I mean, if I was an OHL GM and I heard about that and that work ethic and just that initiative to do something like that at such a young age, I think that's a huge plus. You always look at those intangibles, and you want good people in your organization, so that's a big thing. Huge, right? Like, I mean, it's just a nice thing to have on the resume, like in terms of even just as he goes through life and whatever, that's just awesome to hear. And yeah, I've got a lot of chances to see him play. Like, I guess with Henrik Hockey, he got a lot of points. He created a lot of offense with that team, and he was really good. And I caught him a little bit at the Silver Stick and a little bit at the Gold Puck as well. And he kind of picked up from the summer right where he left off there. In those tournaments, like he creates so much offense. And you reference it so well, how he's got such great hands for a bigger player, and he's big and tall, so he's got a good reach and quick hands. So that becomes a huge strength, that just getting the puck around that pad on the deeks and being able to make passes that other players aren't necessarily able to make with that range of motion in the upper body, that big long reach, and those quick hands. I really like that. And Ethan Miedema comparison, that's great. Miedema, we almost ran into each other at a showcase recently, and I just missed him, but he's a buddy and a friend of the pod, Ethan Miedema. We love him, right? From episode 1, way back at the beginning, right, Connor? Yeah, so I love that reference. That's great. And yeah, I think the quick hands, the quick feet too, constantly, those feet are constantly moving, constantly. I mean, physical, big, strong player. And you mentioned it, just winning pucks down low and various things. And I think you said it really well. A good player. I mean, they won the Waterloo tournament. He was buzzing offensively, key cog in their offense. I think he was the best player on Windsor in the tournament.
Oh, absolutely. And just the overall abilities. I mean, you talked about the offensive firepower he has, being able to be aggressive down low. He talked about two of his biggest assets being the aggressiveness and the work ethic that he plays with. And that it's apparent, especially in the offensive zone where he's not afraid to get down in those dirty areas and win puck battles as well, and then work his way to those prime offensive scoring areas. So, just Windsor's a team overall with him on the offense. I mean, you talked about Georgievich earlier as well. They're a team to look out for as the season goes on in the Alliance. They've had a great start in the Alliance. Josh talked about it where they've kind of really been finding their stride, finding their team chemistry, and putting it together here. So as the Alliance keeps going this season, it'll be fun to see them. And then I'd imagine, I mean, they got to be someone who's going to be qualifying. They've got to be a favorite to kind of qualify for the OHL Cup there, whether it be a wild card or as an automatic qualifier. They got to be one of those teams who will be looking at who could be up there as well in terms of making it into there too, and will be a team to look out for in that tournament as well. So just tremendous getting to talk to him, learn about all that kind of the fun stuff on the ice, as well as kind of learning about him off the ice, that boat detailing, He's in the drag racing too, so it's awesome to get that insight as well. So, just once again, thank you so much to Josh for coming on the pod. Really can't thank him enough for joining this episode. And once again, congratulations to Windsor on that Waterloo Gold Puck tournament win. Tremendous effort and tremendous tournament win for them there. So, we'll jump into the next interview, Ryan, that you had the chance with the player you had the chance to talk to, with the finalists in the Waterloo Gold Puck tournament, the Don Mills Flyers, Aidan Renaud. So, Ryan, let's get started. We'll jump into the interview you had with defenseman Aidan Renaud from the Don Mills Flyers.
All right, I am here with star defenseman Aidan Renaud from the Don Mills Flyers U16 AAA program. Aidan, how's it going?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. Pumped to have you on. I mean, you're a top prospect for the 2022 draft. I saw you in Waterloo and at the Gold Puck there, and you're absolutely killing it. You led your team to the final, and it was an awesome event. Awesome to see you playing hard and all that stuff. And I mean, for you, you're just like an excellent skater. Like you have excellent feet and skating and all that stuff. Like that seems to come naturally to you. But like, how have you kind of developed those skills to become like that elite mobile defenseman?
Over the years, I've had plenty of practice to work on my skating, and try and perfect it to, of course, be the best it can be. I really like having good balance, so I won't get knocked off the puck if I have it on my stick, or if I need to join the rush. Having good skating helps out a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. You do it use it in a variety of ways. Like your feet are great. You make excellent stops in the defensive zone, and like that skating, you're always in position. And it's also good on the rush. But like really, where you shine and how like you use your great feet and all that is in your own D zone. Like you're a lockdown defender, especially like on one-on-one rushes, and you're super tough below the dots in your own zone. You got that mean streak, and you play tough. Is that a major part of your game to be like so difficult to play against?
I'd have to say it's a major part of my game because, of course, I play defense. So the main goal of that is to stop the other team from scoring.
Yeah.
And having a good stick helps out a lot. I can intercept passes, take away shooting lanes, and then playing physical below the dots, it can help to intimidate the other player because they could be afraid to like take a hit, and I can take the puck away from them and turn it up ice.
Yeah. No, you're really good at that. Like, I mean, just like that lockdown role, you got that stay-at-home D-man, you got that down pat. And yeah, I mean, you steal the puck and you turn it the other way. And like part of turning it the other way is like you rush the puck well, but like also a lot of times when you steal it off guys, it's your passing ability, especially in your own zone. And like your passing ability is so incredible to watch, especially those stretch passes, those transition passes. You're so good at those. You got a great stick and you just hammer them like low and hard right on the tape, up to your forwards up ice, and it really helps your team like move the puck forward and get on the offense from defense to offense, right? Like, do you enjoy taking those calculated risks with long home run passes, just whenever the situation presents itself?
Yeah, they're really fun to take. You always see
Yeah.
in the NHL, like people like Erik Karlsson back when he was in Ottawa, you saw him send long stretch passes, and I like modeling my offensive game after him. So sending those long risk passes usually come out with a good reward for me. So I keep sending them.
Yeah, no, especially with how accurate they are and hard right on the tape. So you guys have time to make a move and to get in there and get some offense going. But another thing, like I noticed this in the Barrie tournament, your shot from the point is powerful, especially those slap shots off the one-timer. Like, I mean, you got a couple goals in Barrie at that tournament just off those blasts and really, really excellent velocity. Like what's the secret to developing that game?
Back when I was in Grey Bruce, I in my old house we had a shooting spot or a shooting gallery in the basement, and I would constantly be down there to shoot pucks and try and get like a really good shot so I could score more goals. And then the one timer, it just came naturally just from constantly shooting pucks. I got stronger as the years went on from working hard too, and eventually it started resulting in more goals in games.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, like you could tell you shoot a lot of pucks. I mean, it's obvious. You can't. No one shoots the puck the way you do without having wired a lot, and I can tell you work really hard on it. And the 1T, like, I mean, just even like with your strength, it's great. But I think it also shows your hand-eye coordination. Like you show great hand-eye in a lot of variety of different ways. Like with like, I mean, whether it's off the 1T or like when you're stealing pucks off guys in the D zone, like you just really, really good stick with your stick, and you do really good with all that stuff. But I've talked a lot about your game and different things I like. If you had 3 words to describe your game, what words would you choose and why?
Um, I would choose smart because I like making the smart play, the right play, quick second decisions to like make the right pass, make the right read, whether or not to join in the rush or stay back. Another word I would describe it as fast because I like playing fast. I like skating fast, like shooting fast, and
Yeah.
I just like doing everything fast in the game.
Yeah.
And the third word would have to be probably physical because I like body checking people. I like laying big hits, sending a message to the other team that I'm not going to let you skate through me, and trying to get our team pumped up with big hits.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, those big hits, they get the bench going, and you have a lot of them, like excellent open ice hits, and you catch guys and make them pay, which is awesome. And I mean, physical, smart. I definitely agree with that. Like, you show your hockey IQ in lots of different ways, and yeah, like, yeah, it's awesome. Like, yeah, the physicality is huge, and I mean, that speed, like you said, like you like to do everything fast, right? So that's going to translate at the next level. Like you're playing like up tempo, and like I can tell you can like you could handle like higher competition and play even faster than the play dictates, like at U16. So no, it's awesome. Like just keep playing fast because that's going to help you at the next level. So are there guys in the NHL, any defensemen or even forwards, but any guys you model your game after in the show?
Um, I'd have to say Victor Hedman or someone like Charlie McAvoy. They'll play like 30 minutes a night, uh, but they're consistent minutes. They'll give you good offense, good defense. They put up good points. They're just all around like a perfect ideal defenseman that every team needs, especially come playoff time when there's not going to be as much goals. They're going to lock it down, make sure the other team's not scoring, and that's why they're number one defenseman on their teams and some of the
Yeah.
best in the NHL.
Yeah, no, definitely McAvoy and Hedman. I'm a huge Hedman fan. I love Hedman. I've been following him for years, and I saw him live at a Leafs game. I think it was like 8 years ago or 10 years ago or something. It was a really long time ago, and he was by far the best player on the ice. Like it wasn't even close. There wasn't anyone near him in that game, and yeah, no, he's unbelievable. And McAvoy, yeah, he's a good one as well. And yeah, like they're minute eaters, right? Kind of like you. Like you play a key role for Don Mills, like whether it's PK, power play, the last minute of the game, you're out there shutting things down, and you're an excellent minute eater, like just playing defense, offense, everything, right? You're complete all around. Um, so getting more into like your personality and all that, like how would a teammate describe you or a coach? Like not only as a player, but like not only as a player on the ice, but also as a teammate off the ice.
On the ice, I'd have to say I'm pretty serious when like I just want to win and win at all costs, whether that's block a shot or something. But I take every game seriously, trying to do my best and trying to contribute to the team. Then off the ice, I say I'm more of a fun type of guy. I like cracking jokes in the room, having fun with teammates, uh, just doing like stuff that amuses me.
Yeah, no, like as they say, like nice but not on the ice, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's great. Like that you can kind of like you know the distinction and you can kind of separate the two. And I know like you said you're really serious on the ice. Like I remember a game in the Waterloo tournament. You guys were up 3-0, and I think it was at the flood. I can't remember if it's after the second or the first period, but you're up 3-0, and you looked angry. Like you looked like you weren't happy with like just being up
Was
3-0.
was
You
that
wanted to be
against
up more.
was that against Cal?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's because
What's
we
the
need
story with
to,
that?
well, we needed to score more because we lost our first game. It was a tough one to York Simcoe.
Yeah.
And we needed to score more so to make sure we can move on. And I knew the job wasn't finished, so I was just trying to contribute. So, well, the period started whenever we had a power play, and
Okay.
I picked our goalie passed it to me. I picked it up. I went and rushed it, and then cut to the middle, made a pass, and then one of our players scored. We got up 4-0, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, no, that was good. Like, I mean, I noticed that as a positive because most players when they come off and it's 3-0, they'd be like, I don't know, smiling and like very like, and yeah, you just I got the feeling like you weren't ready to settle on like with that 3-0, and it's crazy you went out there the first shift after the flood and basically created a goal. So that's awesome. That's great to see. Like, I mean, like your team needed that to get through, and you made it to the finals, which was great. Tough loss to Windsor in the finals, but you guys had a good tournament. All right, so to get into some fun ones, to learn a little about your personality, what's like a TV show or a movie that you would recommend to a teammate?
I just saw Spider-Man No Way Home. It's really good. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it was really good. But a movie I'd recommend would be like Step Brothers or Talladega Nights with Will Ferrell.
Okay.
He's probably my like top actor ever.
Yeah.
And every movie he makes is always hilarious, but those have to be up there for the top two.
Like how can you go wrong with those? Like he's so funny. Like I liked him in Step Brothers, and I mean, yeah, like definitely movies like yeah, like all his movies are good, right? He's
Yeah.
got that Elf one. I'm not too sure about that one. A lot of people like that one for this time of year with the holidays around and Christmas and everything. But he's got a lot of funny ones. He's a pretty funny guy. And one more for you here. If you could transform into one animal for 24 hours, what animal would you choose?
Man, this is a tough one. Maybe a lion, because they're like the king of the jungle. They're super fast. They're strong. They're good leaders. Like they're not gonna back down from a fight, and they'll do it like whatever it takes, and to be the best.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's kind of what I would expect from you to say, some kind of apex predator, like a lion. I thought you might say maybe like a shark. But yeah, lion, that fits you perfect. I mean, you're a lion on the ice, so to say. But no, that's awesome. But anyways, Aidan, like I've taken up a lot of your time. So yeah, just gonna let you go on this note. Just I mean, best of luck this season, the rest of the season. I mean, we've had some cancellations. Hopefully, we get back to hockey soon. So when we do, best of luck with that, and very best of luck at the OHL draft.
Thank you.
All right, and we're back from the interview with Aidan Renaud, big right shot D from the Don Mills Flyers. Really fun having the chance to talk to him. Great kid. Like it's interesting. Like, I mean, I mentioned in the interview, nice, but not on the ice. Like he's a really nice person and great person overall, but on the ice, he's not very nice. Like he's mean and physical and loves to kind of make life difficult for opponents. I think, like I mentioned in the interview, like it's a big part of his game, that being tough below the dots, really good in one-on-one battles. And like physical, like big open ice hits, like massive open ice hits. And I remember that game against York Simcoe. They're in that smaller rink. I referenced that earlier in the show here. And like in a smaller rink, he's just laying guys out, like really good in small areas. Great stick. always seems to get a stick on the puck. I noticed that a lot. I was at a showcase recently, big one in Coburg there, and he was getting his stick on everything, like breaking up plays, whether it's passes, strong stick in front of the net, and like in front of the net with him, it's no picnic, buddy. Like he's not he's not gonna let you stand in front of his net and just camp out there. Like it's no fun picnic with Aidan Renaud in front of the net.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. You hit one of the points I was actually going to talk about too, with just the stick work he has too. One of the things I noticed when watching him play is his ability to just break up chances, whether it be the cycle or the offensive rush, with the stick work. He's just so active with it and so precise with it, where he's able to just pick pucks off, knock pucks off sticks, lift a quick little stick lift, and he's off, and he's got to take away for himself and make turning defense into offense for Don Mills there. And he's a big cog for that, where um, starting in his own zone, when he breaks up the play, he can make a great first pass in terms of breaking out, or he can also take it out with his skating, because he's got his edge work and his skating and being able to maneuver on his edges. His mobility is huge. He's a big player. One of the big things I noticed when first watching him is just how smooth and how comfortable he was on his edges, and he was with his
Right.
skating ability, which sets him up so well, where he has the option to make a great first pass, which he does so well, but also he's got that ability to take the puck out himself, where he can rush up the ice, even if it's all the way up the ice as well, I think, as well, Ryan, which I think you had the chance to see a
Yeah.
few times in Waterloo there.
Yeah, definitely. Like when I saw him in Barrie, like you noticed like the strong physical play, the big hits, the good defense. And I mean, he's got a heck of a one-timer. He got a whole bunch of goals in the Barrie tournament. I mean, Don Mills kind of dominated that event. That was just a small event with just 5 teams, and it wasn't much of a tournament. They kind of took it to the teams there, but yeah, like his offense is unbelievable. Like you mentioned, his skating, great feet, really quick feet, great edges, really smooth, and good passer. The thing is, like with his game, like I noticed he wasn't rushing a ton in the first bunch of games I saw, but in the Waterloo Gold Puck tournament, he opened up his game and started rushing the puck more than I'm used to seeing him do. And the more he does that, I think he's going to stand out a lot more at OHL teams, because I mean that stay-at-home D, those are kind of the ones that are hard to pick up on. But yeah, like just opening up his game, rushing the puck, like not just with the puck, but also joining the rush
Yeah,
was
great point.
effective. Yeah, like I mean, at the Gold Puck tournament, we obviously chose him for the interview here. Like I thought he was the best player on Don Mills, who was the finalist in the tournament. They lost 3-0 to Windsor in the final, but a lot of points in the tournament, like lots of assists, lots of like jamming in goals, dirty goals, like just tough to move. Like when he's in front of the net there on the offensive end, you're not getting him out of there. Like he can kind of park himself there, and that's that. Like, I mean, I could see him being in front of the net on an OHL power play, and I think he can be used in a variety of different ways. I really like this player. I think he's a really solid player, and shows like in his all around game.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, especially with that point you made about kind of implementing that two-way aspect, where you have that, where you become an offensive threat as well, where you can become the third man on an odd man rush, turn in an even strength rush and do an odd man rush, or rushing the puck up ice yourself instead of kind of being that stay-at-home D, where it brings that different aspect to you, where you're still so reliable defensively, but then you
Yeah.
add that little bit of offensive threats to you, and it just adds another element, I think, which makes him even more dangerous as a defenseman. And he's already an extraordinary defenseman in and of himself, with that skating that he has and that ability to break up plays as well. So just a phenomenal defenseman with Don Mills. Phenomenal tournament by Don Mills. I mean, big congrats to them as well on making the finals. I mean, that was no walk in the park tournament, no walk in the park. There was tons of phenomenal teams. They overcame some adversity too, I got to say. They did lose. You mentioned earlier how York,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
lose that first game to York Simcoe there, overcame that adversity, made it to the finals. So big congrats to Don Mills as well on making it to the finals of the Waterloo Gold Puck tournament. And like you mentioned, just thanks so much to Aidan Renaud for coming on the pod, taking the time to join the podcast here. And we just really appreciate him taking the time. And best of luck to him the rest of this season. But once again, like we mentioned with Waterloo, I'd imagine we'll see Don Mills a fair bit as the season goes on. They're always in tough with the GTHL and all those top teams there, but they'll definitely be in the mix in the G there, and as we progress here down the road in the season here. So with that being said, just once again, big thank you to Josh Lepain from the Windsor Junior Spitfires and Aidan Renaud from the Don Mills Flyers for taking the time to join us on the pod. But like usual, don't forget to follow us on our social media at the U16 Pod on Twitter and Instagram. If you're looking to follow myself or Ryan on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow myself at cwilliams_384. You can follow Ryan at Ryan P. MacArthur. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on there. If you're whatever podcast platform you're listening on, don't forget to download and like on there. If you have any inquiries, any comments, anything like that, be sure to email us. You can find our email, the u16pod@gmail.com. So send any inquiries to there. But just thanks so much for listening to this episode. And as it is the holiday season, us at the U16 Pod here, Ryan and I do want to wish everyone a happy holidays, happy, healthy, and safe holiday season here. And look forward to some more hockey after this little winter break here. So take care, everybody, and thanks so much for listening.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, Merry Christmas, and I mean, stay safe out there. Take care, everybody.